Have you ever leave a meeting or a date saying like, I nailed it because the other person have the pupil dilation? What if I tell you the arousal and fear are expressing on the same way? My name is Susan Ivitz. I'm a human behavior hacker. Some people hack computers, I hack humans, and this is Coffee with Science. This segment was generated by something that happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I live in the forest and I have raccoons, bambis, and fox who just mate and they have babies. And under my sunroom that is 7 feet tall, I make kind of nest so the animals can be safe during the night and I feed them. One night we was having a meeting with one of the people on the team around 11 p.m. because we have an early morning the next day for a training, and suddenly I hear something who felt like one of my animals were attacked. I put a lamp on the top of my head. I grabbed a baseball bat and a broom. I went outside and I see a couple of coyotes trying to attack one of my baby raccoons. I yelled to them, I went through them, and when I look in the forest, I saw around like 12 to 13 eyes. That means that 12 to 13 coyotes, they were ready to attack. When I come back inside the house, and the person I was having the meeting says, "Are you losing your marbles? Do you know they're always attack and pack?" And says, "Well, I wasn't feeling fear. I was so hooked up in adrenaline, they ran from me. I didn't run from them." So I started thinking about fear. So the first study that I found, it was in 1872 done by Darwin, saying that the pupil and the body react really similar when we feel aroused than when we feel fear. And I found this book by Gavin DeBaker, the gift of fear, when they're talking about how our body interpreted and feel fear. First of all, when we feel fear, we froze, fight, or run. That's the reason that our pupils dilated, the nostril get bigger, and the mouth open, air coming to our lungs. Why? Because we need to know who we're fighting or where we're running. We need to get air on our lungs and our brain so we can think faster. When we get aroused, it just happens the same to our body. We want to be aware who we want to be mating because this paleo brain has to do with us and who we're going to be surrounded by. But I found too that is this fascination with fear. How many times you went to see a horror movie, you pay for to be like sweating and be freaked out by 2 hours, paying a ticket, and you cover your eyes but open your fingers because you can't stop seeing it. Do you know one of the 3 most watched, most listened podcasts in the United States? Serial killers, mental health, and oddities. Really? At least I get paid for 2 of them. How many times you see a crime scene and you see the police more worried about to getting people away from the crime scene so they don't destroy what they think? Do you know there are more serial killers books out there than books about Abraham Lincoln or Washington? People have a fascination with this. It's this fear arousal of things that come together. Do you know that people love crime shows? If you start looking, the oldest crime shows on the TV has to do with Law and Order, Criminal Minds, and things related to that. Do you know too that we can smell fear the same way the animals does? That day they went out there to fight with the coyotes, if they were felt fear, they would attack me. But I was so hooked on adrenaline to defend my babies that I didn't even consider that. But I was thinking about it after that. So I was looking for this experiment that I read a couple of years ago, that they put people with t-shirts watching something that really horrifying, and they put people who they sweat the t-shirt just because they're running on the treadmill. For me, that can be horrifying. I don't exercise. So after they sweat the t-shirt, they put it in a bag, and they get a control group, and half of the control group was smelling the teachers with people who never feel fear, and half of the teacher with people who feel the fear. The ones who smell the fear, they start feeling fear. What Gavin DeBaker on The Gift of Fear says is, every person that he interviewed who was sexually abused, who was mocked, or went through a situation of fear, they feel it on the gut. The gut is called the second brain. This is the first brain, and this is the second brain. So the next time that you feel fear and you got that arousal and to fight in the fear, do not do it. As a human, we have the same ability as animals to feel fear and smell it from others. People has testified they do not remember what happened when they were attacked, but they can tell they have the feeling that something was going wrong. They knew something goes going wrong, but they couldn't move. They felt froze. They were terrified and fascinated at the same time. And this is the friend who blew my mind. They're fascinated for things they're scared as. Why? Where things get dopamine to our brain. So when you have a steady and kind of boring life when nothing happened, and suddenly something weird or danger happened, your dopamine get to the brain to a point that you cannot move. You don't believe me? I found this video online. It's not us. We didn't do it. We give credit to the people who did it. If I'm not mistaken, it's TNT promoting the new action movies, but you're gonna see the people in that video, after everything that was going on, they didn't move. So the next time that you see somebody dilating pupils and get froze, do not confuse arouse with fear, and don't confuse fears with arouse. Go deeper, make more questions. I hope you enjoy the video who coming next, because personally, it freaked me out.